Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Melisa Rodriguez. I'm a first-year medical student here in Florida, and I make videos about medical school, about pre-med tips, sharing my life with you as a medical student, etc. So if you're interested in this kind of content, please make sure to hit the button for subscribing to my channel and also the notification bell so you don't lose any of my future videos. So today I'm like leaving the vlogs for a little bit and coming at you with a more chill kind of video, a more reflective kind of video. And I decided to make this video about how to be motivated in medical school, how to be confident in a medical or professional environment. And I know some of you may be saying, Melisa, oh my god, I don't care about this stuff right now, I just care about getting into medical school, right? Because most of my viewers are pre-med. But I can tell you that you will need it, because the first week you're all like, yes, I'm ready to go. I've worked so hard for this. I just rested my entire summer before medical school, so I'm ready to perform, right? But once a few weeks pass and you realize that you have to study every single day of your life, and if you skip a day, you are behind for a lot and that you then have to catch up and stuff like that. So you need to really find a system. And now that I'm almost a second-year medical student, I don't want to say it because it seems surreal to me that already almost a year have passed, but I'm still first year but almost a second year, and I feel like I have a system now that I can confide in, and I'm very far from perfection in terms of productivity or anything like that. There's a bunch of other productivity channels in YouTube that you can look up, but I just wanted to share this advice with you so that you can use it in any form that you want. If you're a pre-med student, you can use it in your pre-med studies. If you're a medical student, this will be really relatable for you. So yeah, without further ado, let's just start this video, and I hope you enjoy it. Just keep watching. So first, I'm gonna give you some more straightforward advice, some kind of like rules I've set up for myself. And first, you do need a long list. Why do you make a long list? Why do you see me struggling through my long list in my vlogs and everything? When you make a long list, you know that you need to get to work, right? You don't just have two things that you need to accomplish. You have a lot to do. So that gives you kind of like the momentum to start working. And for example, I'll show you like a random one. I have my little schedule here. But for example, tomorrow, I have this whole list of things that I might get to everything, I might not, right? But I know that I gotta get to work, and even if I fulfill 3 of those things, I know that I'm on track. And this is why I recommend you to get a calendar like this one. I'll show you the layout, that it divides your time by the hours of the day, because in medical school every hour counts. And I'm not saying that I can't take a break or anything. You've seen my vlogs. I do a lot of other things, like spend time with my family, exercise, I sing, I go out with my friends sometimes. But the weekdays, especially the weekdays, are studying time and it's goal time, and you need to be prepared to work. You need to plan your time, right? You need to be time efficient. This is why a lot of medical schools in their MMIs or in their interviews, they ask you about time management. How do you plan to figure out your life once you're in medical school? It's because you do need to plan ahead, especially if you have some projects and things like that. So yeah, you do need a long list, because that makes your brain think, yes, I gotta work, so I gotta be productive, and I gotta start with the first one. And when you make a to-do list, I recommend you to put numbers on them in the priority of most important to least to less important, so that you have a guide. So that way, if you don't get to do everything, you at least did the most important ones, right? And that forces you to get to work. Another rule or practice that I do is when I get a little sleepy, because you will get sleepy even if it's interesting what you're learning, you get sleepy, especially at 1 or 2 p.m. that you just want to take a nap. I mean, you can take a 15-minute nap, but if you start taking 30 and 40-minute nap, I assure you that you're gonna be behind. This practice is putting water, cold water on your face. So if you feel sleepy, you go to the bathroom, put some cold water on your face. I mentioned this in my video about the MCAT. When I was practicing for the MCAT, I always took every chunk as a different exam. And what I will do to make it seem like it was a different exam, so that my brain is not too fried, was putting some cold water on my face. And that usually wakes me up. So yeah, that's a strategy to not just give up and go to bed and take a big nap. You try first with the water. If you can't wake up with the water, then you take a nap, okay? Next is dividing your time in 1 hour chunks of work. So I try to make each to-do list task as a 1 hour block, so that you can take a break every 1 hour. And with that comes my next tip. Throw your phone the furthest away that you can. Throw it away. You do not want your phone in the side or in your desk, because once you get your phone, that's already 20 minutes wasted in your phone, because you're gonna start scrolling through Instagram. I know it happens to most of us, right? Unless you don't like social media, which is just a few of us these days. Almost all of us like social media. In my case, every time I enter social media, like I have some kind of like comment or something that I have to like respond, or like some pictures that I want to look at. So it's just distracting me a lot, and I have learned already my lesson. So I try to put my phone away, and I know that in 1 hour, if I need it, if it's an emergency, I of course will hear the call, but in 1 hour I will check my phone for like 5 minutes, and that's it. Another tip that I have is to change up your resources, especially if you're a medical student. I don't know, if you're a medical student, you watch me, please let me know down in the comments. What I do is switch up the resources so that I don't get bored with the same resource. There's excess amounts of resources that you have, and I have a whole video about different medical content channels in YouTube that have content for free. I use them. I use Words and Beyond, I use Ambas, I use my class lectures. So I have a lot to choose from, right? And I also have books, but I barely read. When I read is articles. So that's what I mostly read. But I do have some great professors that lecture really well, and I know them, and whenever I see the lecture of them is coming up, I know that I'm gonna watch it, even if it's long, because they're good at presenting the information, right? But then there's some other lecturers that I prefer watching some supplemental video instead, or reading an article, and I have learned how to get my way through that by now. But yes, switch up your resources. Whenever you're trying to review something, try to choose a video in YouTube that is like a 10-minute video instead of watching like a 50-minute lecture. If it's something that you have done before and you're just kind of like reviewing, that helps a lot. And also doing questions is like a way to do active learning. Another thing that I wanted to mention, Anki. So I use Anki. I mentioned it in the previous video, but I use Anki for memorization stuff, for histology, anatomy, radiology, pharmacology, those memorization heavy things, right? But when it comes to the other concepts that you need to know as a whole, I make summaries. So that's how I don't get bored when studying. Another thing that I really enjoyed, especially in medicine, when studying medicine, is a lot about building buckets. I have a professor that always mentions that. If you have a disease, build a bucket for the disease. Or if you have a specific symptom like jaundice, let's say, that's what you can observe with a lot of different diseases. We're studying the liver right now. But I get jaundice and I divide it and I make like a flowchart, and that's my bucket of jaundice. So whenever a patient has jaundice, I can look through those up and break it down and try to like figure out what's happening, right? So that helps me a lot. And number one advice that I will give someone that's studying medicine is try to connect the disease to a patient. That's why I recommend you to apply to a school that exposes you to clinical experience early on. Why? Because that's what motivates me. That's my main motivator. And I think for most of you it's going to be the same. Once you see a patient with that disease, you're going to remember the disease and you're going to have the urge to look it up and learn from it more. And yeah, you're going to just have it in your brain that that's the patient that you saw. And if it's a real patient, even better. I do it with both the real patient and the standardized patients. But yeah, I recommend you to, when you're choosing your medical school, choose a program that puts you in the clinic the first year. That's one of the reasons I love my school. But yeah, I go to clinicals every week, and at least 2 times a week I get exposed to some kind of case, some kind of patient. And sometimes in one clinic day I see up to 3-4 patients, and I try to connect that to what I'm learning. And if it's something that I studied before, I kind of look it up in my bundle of things. Going off of that, because you already have those buckets built and that information saved in your own words or in your own kind of like understanding, you can go and look it up, and it will make it easier than looking up a random article in the internet. Having patients that you see and that you experience the care, even if you're not the main person that's caring for them, but you're seeing what's happening to them, makes you be motivated about studying, makes you be excited about learning medicine and about learning what's really happening, what could have been happening, how can I help, you know. That's really the main reason that gets me motivated to study. And yeah, just looking at the why behind everything. Ask why, ask questions to your professors. They're there for a reason, especially in the first year. The first year is gonna go like this, and then you're gonna realize you didn't ask the questions that you needed to. And then that's what I'm thinking. If I wait too long to ask these questions, then who am I gonna ask? The people that already expect me to know stuff. So it's harder. So when you are a new medical student, it's easy to ask because they don't expect you to know anything. So ask questions, and those questions are probably what's gonna stick, right? Every patient kind of like gives me this wake-up call that someday I might be the one responsible, and I need to know what's going on. I need to be able to perform and just kind of regurgitate the knowledge that I have gained, and I just want to be prepared. That's why it's important to feel a connection with your patients and to really want to be there. And once you're shadowing, if you're a pre-med student, if you're shadowing and you see that you want to be part of this care, that you want to know what's going on, that's what's going to take you through medical school. The urge or the wanting to be able to deliver great care and to be part of that healthcare team. Another thing that makes me motivated is that I really enjoy to be prepared for the live sessions. So in my school we have like those live sessions where the professors will like ask questions and go over material that has been already taught, but like kind of as a review. And I like to be prepared. I like to be able to ask questions. When I'm not prepared, I feel like this, oh damn it, I missed that opportunity. I'm not gaining what I'm supposed to gain from this learning experience. And that's what I want you to build. I want you to build that urge and that motivation for learning through your experience in medical school. In summary, it's all about just seeing into the future and seeing the responsibility that is gonna come your way, and just the commitment that you have made when you enter medical school is a commitment. So you're gonna look back into that commitment and look into the future and say, oh my gosh, I need to really be prepared, and this is what's gonna take me to that desk to learn that particular concept now. So yeah, and also like going to the clinic and seeing those patients is gonna keep giving me that little push to just think of how useful that information is gonna be and how I'm going to be able to use it, and just also feeling content with my performance and proud of myself. That's just the main gift, you know, being able to retain that information. And it also will allow you to do good in your exams, right? Exams are not the most important part of medical school. The most important is that you actually retain the information, right? So yeah, just use your Mondays, make a to-do list, and follow all of this advice. I hope it helps you in whatever you want to achieve, in whatever your endeavors are, and just keep fighting for it. And if you have any questions about anything about getting into medical school or any productivity tips, please leave them down below and I'll look over them. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one.